Okay, Finding Nemo was a staple of my childhood. Pixar's one of their best films and it's amazing and it's one of my favourite films. So here's the sequel 13 years later.
Migration is about going home, which is where you're from.
How do the stingrays all know where to go?
Instinct, something deep inside you that feels so familiar that you have to listen to it.
My mom, my dad, I have a family.
We will never forget you, Dory.
What if I forget you?
I miss them.
Finding Dory. So Finding Dory is directed by Andrew Stanton. It stars Ellen DeGeneres as Dory, Albert Brooks, Ed O'Neill, and Ty Burrell. So basically Dory, she's still the forgetful fish. This Finding Dory takes place 1 year after Finding Nemo, and Dory remembers something. She remembers her parents, and she remembers a marine center where they are and where she used to be prior to meeting Marlin in Finding Nemo. So they decide to set out and go to the marine center in California to go and find Dory's parents. Dory is perhaps one of the most perfect animated castings I've seen. Ellen DeGeneres as Dory is one of the best castings I've seen because it's not often that the actor impersonates the character and the character reflects the actor. Like when you watch Ellen, you can see Dory. You can see that there's a bit of Dory, more than a bit of Dory in Ellen. And that's just great, because her voice acting was great. All the voice acting was really well done. And because for Dory, since she was a secondary character, she's now the main character in this movie, and Marlin and Nemo are now secondary characters. There's now a lot more secondary characters in this movie. You've got Whale Shark, who's a great character. She can't really see that well. You got Ty Burrell plays this beluga whale. He starts off a little bit annoying, but then he kind of redeems himself, and he's a much better character by the end of the movie. Ed O'Neill as Hank the Octopus. Hank the Octopus is amazing. I really loved him. Every scene he was in, he pretty much stole the scene. But a character that took the scene away more, he stole the entire movie. It's the sea lions, and there's this sea lion played by Idris Elba. He's great. The animation is really beautiful. It's really well done. All the humans, they look kind of roundish, and you see these situations where you're like, hey, that's just a normal thing, but they are to the animals inside. This is some sort of like monster horror movie, and there's a scene that encapsulates that really well. It's kind of like, what if there were giants? Giants would just like go around their daily work, and we would just be like, ah. And Dory's disability in the movie, as having short-term memory loss, it's not annoying in the movie. You might think it would get on your nerves of having to repeat a character, everything, explain it, so you explain it really to like a low level where a child can understand it, whereas in the movie it's not annoying, but you wouldn't have the characters in the movie do find it annoying, but you just sympathize with Dory because you understand what she's going through. Some of the characters though, the characters' designs look very thick. Even though they look beautiful, they look very like thick and childish. The movie felt like towards the third act, felt like that it tries to stop, but then it keeps going, and the movie like feels like it might end one or two times. But it just keeps going, then it ends very abruptly. Finding Dory also has an emotional part where you see Dory at the lowest of the low, much like you see people in like Toy Story 3 or Up, or where they emotionally manipulate you. They try and do it here, but for me I wasn't like crying like I would have hoped I would be, but it just kind of like, oh, it really gets you in there. But I can see some people crying at that part. So Finding Dory, I find it much comparable to How to Train Your Dragon. I love How to Train Your Dragon, and I love How to Train Your Dragon 2, except How to Train Your Dragon 2 is just not as good as the first one. And the same works between Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, and I will give Finding Dory a 9.5 out of 10. Have you seen Finding Dory? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to become one of the Platypus, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.